Welcome, Ken. Thanks for joining me today. We have a lot to get into. We got a customer drop it in later, going to share a great story with us. But first, we got to get into our new product, HCL Mosaic. A lot of great stuff to talk about there. And then stick around to the end because we got a nice little bonus at the end as well.
No, I love that. Glad to be here. I think this is exciting. It's always good, as we go out and talk to customers, but it's always good to hear that story of how they're using the product, what they're facing, what's evolving, where are they going, and just trying to drive that through. So
Right. Okay. So quickly, right? Mosaic is our new modular cloud service, and its focus is really about taking the hard work of managing your own environment, taking that hard work off your hands so that you can focus on, leveraging the latest and greatest and building out more and new innovative experiences on the platform.
it comes from, again, conversations with customers and challenges that they're facing today. And I think this is across the board. So when we talk to customers and we talk about the challenges that they're having, it revolves around, keeping up with the versions. We've been on a pretty rapid pace the last several years of releasing new products. It's about every 6 weeks, something new comes out. New capabilities are coming in this that they could start to take advantage of. And so we run into the issue that trying to get them upgraded and then activating those new features and letting them use them and really derive value out of that. Mosaic starts to answer that. And that all feeds into the driver of why is we want customers focusing on innovation and not infrastructure. And so how do we free them up, let them use what they have, not bog them down with complicated development procedures or administration features, keeping up on versions and capabilities, but how do we really help drive that innovation methodology through all this?
Right. So on the product side, what I hear is, customers still on legacy deployment models, and that typically leads to feedback around poor user experiences. And really, this is what Mosaic is going after, right? Which is if we can just get you onto Mosaic on the latest capabilities, you will have access to all of our newer experiences, our newer tooling, really allowing you to really build more innovative experiences.
Now that we've kind of talked about, what are the challenges, how do we think Mosaic may address some of those? Like, why don't we break down, how do you explain, if you had to explain it out to somebody, what is Mosaic?
So it's a couple things, right? So first of all, Mosaic is a modular cloud service, right? And basically what that means is customers can turn on the features that they need at the time that they need them. It's first about that. Next, it's about having access to all the latest and greatest features at all times, right? So that the environment never gets stale, that they always have access to the most innovative capabilities out there.
Right.
One of the new things with this platform too is when we get back to this modular ness, we're adding in Voltamex into the mix. What you're trying to build, what you're trying to deliver to your end users is just not about the web experience. It's also about, some level of mobile app, a kiosk, even a CarPlay app in a store. Voltamex is there to help you build out and round out that experience across all your digital touch points. And then lastly, what Mosaic is it's our new home for AI. And we'll get into it in a bit, but we already have some lightweight capabilities, but we're coming with more and more powerful stuff. The first you're going to see around it is our new practitioner assistant called IQ. And it's really going to make using our product easier, better, and faster. That, in a nutshell, is what Mosaic is.
Yeah. Listen, all those things I love. I think one thing that I'd add that you may have left out in one of my favorite pieces is Foundry. So when we talk about Foundry, Foundry is the glue of all of this. And, I'll say it takes chaos into order. And, how do we put structure around all of these back-end data services, all of these back-end integrations that developers have to deal with, bring them together into a easily managed, low-code connectivity environment, and lay on top of that orchestration. Doesn't get enough credit as part of Foundry. Aside from being able to connect and return data, the orchestration component is huge, and it allows us to do that. Because when we talk about that, that's when we start talking about these cost savings of how do we speed up time to development, how do we let developers not have to spend 80% of their time building back-end connections and dealing with security and access and all of those types of things to make that easier.
I think what actually makes Mosaic cool is actually what's under the hood, right? And what's under the hood is us leveraging what we've been investing in on the infrastructure side over the last couple of years so that we can take advantage of it now in these Kubernetes environments. By leveraging the latest of infrastructure, optimizing those environments, we have the opportunity to pass those cost savings on to customers. And what we're seeing initially is a cost savings of about 25 to 30% against a traditional deployment. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
No, and people forget it's not just cost savings in there. Those cost savings turn into the ability to free up to innovate and invest in other things, invest in developers and invest in new components, whatever it may be, new experiences. Because if you're spending 70 upwards of 80% of your cost on just running your environment and maintaining it and keeping the lights on, leaves very little for innovation.
So let's get into the capabilities, right? We have spent the last couple years very, very focused on improving the practitioner experience, right? And there's been a big focus on simplicity and usability, right? We have a new dashboard. We got the presentation designer. We got Blueprint. We've added Foundry. The digital asset manager continues to evolve. We've really put a lot of time into trying to think about simplifying how websites are built and managed by practitioners. But I got to ask you, right? So you're out there talking to customers daily. I mean, what of those capabilities is resonating the most with customers?
Well, there's quite a few. And every customer is a little bit different. But if I kind of broke it down in the top three, I'd probably start out with the idea of the Blueprint. So if you're not familiar with Blueprint, Blueprint is a collection of a couple hundred pre-built components and assets in the content management world that allow you to quickly build sites. So whether it's a page template, a hero banner, a video component, a news item, whatever those things are things that we used to have to build. And now what we're delivering is just that set of Duplo or Lego blocks for a content management, allow them to quickly build sites, whether they're very basic sites or they're very involved sites, and wrap content around those experiences. So that's going to be huge. So that's probably number one. I think secondarily, I'd probably look at the digital asset manager that you mentioned. Whether you're delivering to a smartphone, a kiosk, a website, or even a smartwatch or something like that, you have to be able to deliver the right image, the right video, in the right context, the right size to optimize that experience around that. And it's going to take care of that for you. So it's going to make it very easy for people to put controls from a marketing standpoint of what can be displayed on the site, because you can restrict it, only approved assets and DAM can come out. But also the end user experience is going to be much nicer because you'll deliver the right assets and deliver that experience. So digital asset manager and Blueprint. And then lastly, presentation designer. A presentation designer in a nutshell allows you to, what used to be a developer task, to actually write what are called presentation templates, which define how your content looks on a website. The presentation designer is now drag and drop. So again, getting back to those skill sets, I don't need to know how to code content components. I just have a page, I drag, I want a title here, I want a subtitle here, I want an image over here, and it's all saved in component. And you start to combine that eventually with Blueprint, it becomes extremely powerful. So I think those three things answer a lot of the top challenges around skill set, capabilities, and delivering experiences and innovation.
And with those type of toolings, customers can just move faster, right? Practitioners don't have to wait, don't have to get into the IT backlog. They can just go make those simple changes to improve their experience and publish, and they're off to the races.
We've touched on it earlier, and I think it's worth diving into just because it's such a hot topic, and it's around kind of this idea of AI. And I want to look at it two different ways. There's AI, as you mentioned, HCL IQ, that'll be built in the product for the practitioners, the people building things and working with the site and administrators, but then also how we're addressing AI externally and for the end user experience around that.
The next thing that we have coming, and it's going to be launched through Mosaic, is IQ, right? And IQ is our practitioner assistant. IQ for a new user is really designed to get you up to speed really quickly. So for example, if a new practitioner comes in and has been tasked with putting personalization on the website, they can simply ask IQ, how do I, add personalization to my experience? It'll explain personalization. It'll tell you where to go in the tooling to do it. It will walk you through it. It will give you suggestions around the most common things. It will give you tips and tricks. It's a very guided experience. It takes all of the content around our documentation and our discussion threads and all of that, and aggregates it into a very readable and consumable experience. Really good. I think about, the value it's going to bring to our seasoned pros of our platform. It turns into, or it morphs into, this creative buddy that you have, where you can say, hey, I need to update this content, or I need to create new content. And it seems to just know, with a little bit of prompting, just the right words that you can use on your site now. When you're generating content, you're now not thinking about just generating content for your website. You're thinking about how that content is going to be consumed and found by agents.
No, I think that's key. And we're already seeing customers do it today.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned that idea of making sure that your site is delivering the information that your end users do, and having agents do it. And the agents allow you to act more like a user and find those holes in content or find those holes in the experience. It's going to be very crucial. I think that the agentic AI piece, DX becomes almost an agentic operating system, if you will. One thing that I found in talking to our customers is sometimes they're not even aware of some of the items that were in place already. Right. And, they had built their site, they built their experience, and they've been going along, and it's been great. And then we can come in and talk about some things, personalization, multi-site, multi-user, all of those types of components. I didn't know if you had one that kind of stuck out.
My favorite, and I see it more and more used, is our multi-site feature. Mm-hmm. A customer usually has like 2, 3, or 4 different websites, and they're all somehow connected. Either, there's an end user experience and a partner experience, or an employee experience, and they're all connected together. And I really love that our platform really allows customers to share a lot of the resources across those sites. And just think about an example, right? So let's say you're a car manufacturer, right? You're going to have a website where people can go and look at all the latest cars that you have, click into it, find out all the details, all the rest of that, look at setting up a test drive and all those things, right? But, that's just a part of that experience, right? You're going to have dealer portals. You're going to have supplier portals, right? If you think about that comprehensive experience that's really tied into driving that ultimate end user experience, there's going to be multiple websites that are going to be needed. And our platform does a really good job of managing that, really, allowing customers to have cost savings and efficiencies through that.
Yeah. And not having to reproduce and recreate the wheel every time you need to launch a new site. And not to bang the drum again, but I talk a lot about Foundry and being the glue that kind of pulls all this together. So if you talk about the time to innovate, a good chunk of that time is just trying to connect to back-end systems. They're having to build all these connections and having to then build applications. And Foundry really frees them up from that, because you can build out your basic set of building blocks and across, like you mentioned, all platforms. So whether I'm using a low-code development tool like Leap, whether I'm in VoltaMX to deliver a mobile or tablet native experience, or if a digital experience, it's all using the same services. And so once you have those services built, your developers just get to pick the tools and the pieces that they're using, build it together. So again, I'll use the Lego reference. You're giving them this huge case of things, and they get to build what they want. It's got all of the components.
But also with the addition of VoltaMX into the solution, you can now also start building out those other digital endpoints that you need, the mobile apps, the kiosks, whatever you need there. That also plugs into Foundry. And you really start thinking about it, and you really start getting into this vision of a total experience. And that's really what Mosaic is designed to do. And because of its modularity, we fully recognize that you're going to maybe start with a mobile app, or maybe start with a website. But over time, you are going to get to that complete user journey. And the idea is that Mosaic will grow with you as you need it.
Yeah, I think the composability, the modularity, hence the name Mosaic, of bringing everything kind of together, is crucial. And it's a great story, because you can get overwhelmed when you're saying, hey, we need to deliver X to, a government needs to deliver services to their customers. Well, start with the basics, and then you can continue to grow, and you don't have to rewrite things, and you don't have to, reconfigure or deploy more.
Right. So I think we've talked a lot about Mosaic, talked about the challenges that our customers have and how Mosaic can solve it. But I think a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, let's see it.
Let's get into a demo.
Hey everyone, let's demo HCL Mosaic. If your organization faces outdated deployment models, skill gaps, or legacy software, Mosaic is the solution. Let's explore how it addresses these issues. So, why Mosaic? 3 main reasons. First, it helps you transform faster. Our blueprint design system completely breaks through development bottlenecks. Second, Mosaic helps you connect everyone by unifying your fragmented channels through deep personalization. And third, it helps you operate smarter. With our composable SaaS model, you literally stop paying for things you don't use. Let's see this in action with NextHaven, a smart home IoT company. They chose Mosaic as their unified platform to speed up their digital transformation. We'll follow their journey across 4 chapters: consumer experience, marketing team, field workforce experience, and low-code builder experience. Let's start with a random anonymous user interacting with the NextHaven site for the very first time. We all know static portals lose customers. Mosaic solves this with our content engine, which immediately starts pulling dynamic assets straight from your DAM to catch their eye. But Mosaic can take it a step further. Meet Nexi, our agentic AI. Nexi proactively jumps into a chat to help solve the user's specific problems before they even log in. This is behavior tracking in action, designed to maximize your conversions, just like we are seeing right now in this example. Because the system is tracking real-time interests, like blood pressure monitoring, Mosaic's personalization engine instantly swaps out generic welcome banners for targeted calls to action. By using embedded interactive Mosaic apps, we can actually capture valuable zero-party data from anonymous users. This allows NextHaven to serve up highly personalized, high-converting product recommendations instantly. From there, we enter the commerce flow. Mosaic ensures a completely seamless transition from content to commerce, in this case, pre-filling the shopping cart. We also support extensive third-party integrations, as you can see here with this native Google Pay experience. Let's move to the site manager and view the marketing side. They need to launch a spring campaign, so they drag and drop the Spring Hero banner from the Blueprint design system onto the page. Next, they check the localization for Spain in the article using HCL IQ, our AI assistant, to auto-translate the content. AI plays a significant role throughout the content building process. It can instantly write the main description, run sentiment analysis, and generate SEO keywords. They then open the integrated DAM to select an image that fits best. Then they will adapt it by cropping it with the proper mobile. Done. Now, let's switch gears to the employee experience. Meet Sarah, a NextHaven field representative. Mosaic also builds mobile apps. Sarah uses the app offline to access customer history and location data. Our mobile engine synchronizes critical data into a secure container, giving her full enterprise power without a cell signal. She uses native AR to virtually place products in customers' rooms and submits orders instantly. The transaction is stored locally and syncs to the ERP upon reconnection. This turns dead zones into revenue. How long do you think it took IT to build Sarah's app? Normally, that's a multi-day project, but with Mosaic, it took hours. Our IQ platform converts Figma artboards into logic-ready apps in seconds, eliminating manual UI coding. Bridging design and development, it converts Figma layers into native widgets, saving staff time and reducing backlog. Next, let's take a peek behind the scenes. Our legacy bridge exposes complex back-end flows as simple APIs, keeping legacy data secure, accessible, and under one governance roof. The Mosaic Integration Core provides instant access to over 400 enterprise adapters. Unified Identity Services handles SSO and governance, while an intuitive visual workflow manages server-side logic. This brings us back to the choice. Option 1 is lift and shift. You move the mess, and you keep the debt. Option 2 is rip and replace. You pay an integration tax and lose years of hard work. With Mosaic, there is a better way. We give you a fresh SaaS start with full cloud freedom. We provide the tools to reduce migration costs while leaving the technical debt behind.
Now, if I was a customer and I saw that demo, I would be thinking two things, right? I'd be thinking, I want that. And then also, but really, what's the catch?
Right.
Like, how hard is it to get to Mosaic?
Yeah.
Now, I know you've been talking to a few customers about Mosaic. What can you share about what you're talking to them about that journey?
We've put together an entire flow, if you will, a structure around how we address these. And it's a multi-phase approach. And the first phase is just evaluation. So we need to sit down and look at, what are you using in the DX product today? Secondarily, then we just peel the onion back a little bit further and look at the next layer down and say, all right, what do we need to do to whichever components, whether they're applications, whether it's content, to get that over there? We'll also discuss in this move, do you want to do any sort of modernization, meaning a new look and feel for the site, upgrade the user experience, the journey, whatever it may be, maybe add new features on things that are kind of low-hanging fruit. And then finally, if all that, once we figure out what the plan looks like, we'll start actually deploying their environment. And then once the sites are up and ready for them, and they'll get multiple environments, obviously, then we can start the migration. And so depending on the customer, we may be moving content, we may be moving applications, we may be deploying new functionality. Or for some customers that may just be looking for a new place to run new workloads and leaving stuff legacy and where it is, just building those sites out and handing the tools over to the customer. So that's kind of the approach. We'll do an assessment. We'll kind of deal down as I put the plan together of what needs to be moved and how we're going to move it. And then we'll start the actual process of doing it.
So I think now is like a good time to bring in our customer for today.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Right. We're here in Brazil, and we're here to meet with Copa Energia because they've been on a really cool digital transformation project over the last year, spans multiple websites, and have a really great story to share around how they're leveraging a lot of the DX capabilities that we've talked about today to launch a new experience, drive digital transformation across their organization, and really, really leapfrogged that customer experience so that it's just much easier to interact with their organization. So with that, let's jump to it and get them in here. Welcome, Adriano. So nice to have you here. We're here today to talk about the digital transformation project that you guys have been on. But I think we should just start with, can you just tell us a little bit about your organization?
It's a great pleasure to be here. Our main activity is distribute bottled gas for the whole country through our chain of retailers. Our retailers, 6,000 retailers around the country, and they distribute the bottled gas to the final customers.
Okay.
So we have around 30 million final customers. The main concerns about our main customers are focused on ordering, financials, maintenance, and customer support.
Yeah, so your customers, when you did this research, you found, those were the top 3 reasons that they were calling in. Did they also come back and say, we prefer to not call in? Are they looking for other ways to engage with you through other channels?
Yeah, especially after pandemics. It's not a matter of technology, but customer behavior. They prefer to solve their problems on a website or on our web chat or WhatsApp.
When you went through this transformation and you researched your customers and found these out, what role did our digital experience platform play in being able to answer those demands?
The platform that we built for our customers, a new way to solve their problems.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you don't need to wait long hours or days to have a bill, or if you forget to pay your bill, or you want to update your financial or order a new product.
So you have today, there's 2 customer portals, is that right? And 3 other websites that you've launched over this time? Can you tell me a little bit about the functionality of those different sites? Like what purpose does each one serve?
Our main objectives are talk with different clients to bring them information about the gas, bring them information about how to contract us, to contact and to make a business with the company. If you look for the product itself, it's a commodity. So it's a matter of how is the price or and so on. But behind the scene, you have a lot of information, and especially about safety. And Copa Energia is very concerned with their customers regarding safety conditions.
When you were looking at the digital transformation project, you weren't thinking of technology or software. You were really thinking about how do we connect with our customers, whether they're the distributors or the direct consumers.
They need to go to the company almost daily to refill. They need to order and they need to buy the bottled gas to distribute to the final customers. In the portal, we have nowadays we have all the services available in order to get their job easier.
So that kind of leads me into my next question then. So we've talked about the problem that your customer faced. We talked about the approach of how you wanted to reach out to them and provide this information to them in the right channel. So if we bring this down, I know we weren't doing software, but if we bring it down to the HCL DX product, what was it about that allowed you to help meet those needs? What within the platform, has that helped your organization meet those demands as you roll these sites out?
Nowadays, with the DX platform, we, especially the marketing area, they can update the information, make it all the job got easier and faster, especially because we have sometimes we need to implement a form to research something with our customers, and we need to make it faster. In the portal, we have more information, more quality information, and especially about data, price, and so on. One of our big problems was about SEO and all the strategy to achieve new clients. So we can structure a better digital, not only experience, but this path to bring the client, or to know what information the clients are looking at website and so on.
So we've talked about how what you've implemented has improved customer experience, right? Customers are happy because they get it in the channel that they want. Your marketing team is more happy because they can do updates to the website much more easily. Your security team is happy to give more options to your end users that require security. You've done a lot in the last year. So what's next for you guys? What's next in your top priority for your customer experience?
Our main and next steps are concerned to bring them the omni-channel, the omni-canality, in order that they start a conversation on WhatsApp, for example, and they can change for the portal or the opposite, and give them more options to the self-service.
So you've talked about improving SEO and talked about increased customer engagement. How has HCL Digital Experience really improved the customer journey?
Copa Energia has a strong digital strategy to talk with our final customers. So we started a strategy to talk directly to these clients, and we have a digital strategy to achieve these clients through Meta, Google, and so on. A strong device or strong software like DX, it helps us a lot with SEO, with organic organic search. I expect that until the end of the year, we reduce around 20 or 30% of our digital cost
Right.
regarding to client acquisition, digital client acquisition.
I tell you what, we're excited to see what comes next.
Yep.
We're excited to work with you and partner with you in Copa Energia and how DX can support what's going forward and all of that.
Yeah, we're very excited to help you on that next level of digital transformation that you have planned moving going forward.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to work with GX team. Let's go. Let's grow together.
Let's grow together. I
Let's
love it.
go.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Man, I just love that story. I mean, there's so much value that they're getting out of the technology.
And I still love, his point he brought up a couple of times is they started with the customer problem.
Right.
They looked at how can they solve it. They found a solution in DX and how to go about it. But they didn't start with software. They started with, because at the end of the day, when you strip away APIs and connectivity and all of the jargon that goes along with sites and digital experiences, it's all about connecting people and delivering an experience. And their drive was to connect with their customers where they need to, where they want to be connected with, when they want to be connected, how they want to be connected, and deliver safety and a true experience and differentiate themselves.
Now, I did promise you and everybody who's watching
Drum roll.
a bonus. And so I would like to introduce everybody to Project Leona. Project Leona is a new vibe coding tool that we're working on. And it's currently in early access program. And but I thought it would be really cool if you could actually see what this tool can do to rapidly build out functionality and deploy it into a DX-based website. And so we're just going to extend the demo that we showed you today and show you how you can use Project Leona to build functionality into your website at record speed.
You might wonder how we built the complex checkout experience we saw earlier. Connecting a commerce flow usually requires extensive back-end work and careful state management. For NextHaven, we didn't write code. Instead, we built it using Project Leona, our Mosaic coding agent, by describing the user experience. Leona doesn't just generate, it thinks. It architects the logical flow, integrates payment gateways, and adds functions and UI elements. In seconds, the full application code is generated with a functional preview window for immediate testing. This is development at the speed of thought. We refined the UI and adjusted the styling of the payment buttons by telling Leona what to change using natural language. There was no manual CSS or file hunting. Leona understood the context and updated the logic and styling instantly. We can see every step Leona takes to apply the updates, and the preview gets re-rendered live. Once satisfied, we deployed it directly into the NextHaven portal as a native, secure Mosaic application. Mosaic and Project Leona redefine AI possibilities, from IQ assistants to fully conversational agents. We bridge big ideas and production-ready code, reducing weeks to minutes. Don't rebuild. Migrate to Mosaic and start innovating today. Thanks for joining us.
So Project Leona, pretty cool.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
I mean, you can build real functionality really fast. And what I love about it is our take around vibe coding and moving quickly. But it's not just about vibe coding. It's about plugging into all of those services that we've been talking about today, right? You're not starting with Greenfield. You're actually going to plug it into Foundry, right? And then you're going to export it out into DX. And so it's going to plug into your organization and just allow you to deliver more functionality quickly. And I can't think of a better way to wrap up this session.
I think it's fantastic. I'm excited to see next steps.